Happy New Year's to all of you movie lovers out there. It's time to dive into my top 10 most anticipated films for 2022. This year is shaping up to look like a beautiful year for movies. Some of these movies might not even come out this year. Hopefully they all do, because it seems like every time I do these lists, something gets delayed, something ends up going to the next year, something happens to them. Thankfully, though, I'm very excited for all these movies, and I'm really excited to see your guys' list as well, so make sure to leave a comment. Let's have a great discussion down below on what movies you are most excited for in the year 2022, and as well, let me know your New Year's resolution. What are you wanting to do this year? This is the year of dreams. Every year is. I got my goals. I'm sure you do as well. And make sure as while you're down there, if you're new to this channel, hit that like and subscribe button, because I love talking movies, and I want to keep talking movies with you. Coming down at my number 10, we have Killers of the Flower Moon. This is directed by my favorite director of all time, Martin Scorsese. Apple TV decided to give this guy a bunch of money to go make one of the biggest westerns of all time. I know nothing about the story. I really don't want to know anything about the story, but I do know that it stars DiCaprio, Jesse Plemons, Brandon Fraser, and of course Robert De Niro, and a ton more. It's a western, it has an amazing cast, and it has my favorite director of all time directing it, and it's also one of the biggest westerns of all time with the budget that it has. So I am absolutely sold on this film. I am so excited to see what Killers of the Flower Moon will come out to be. Hopefully it ends up coming out this year. It has been shaping up for a while. They're in pre-production, so fingers crossed it comes out this fall. If it had a definitive release date, this easily would have been my top 3, but since it doesn't, that's why it's down here. Now coming down at my number 9 is a film that I've been absolutely insanely excited about. Heard some good word of buzz from some of the test screens on this one, and it's called The Samaritan. It has, of course, the man, the myth, the legend, Sylvester Stallone in here, and he plays a retired superhero, and this young kid ends up finding out that his neighbor next door is a retired superhero. This is directed by Julius Avery, who did the film Overlord, which if you haven't seen Overlord, I heavily recommend that movie. What an awesome World War II zombie film that movie was. It was bloody, it was brutal, but it was an absolute blast, and I'm expecting The Samaritan to do the same. Other than that, I know nothing else about this movie, but the fact of the concept alone, the director alone, and as well as who is in it, that's what makes me excited. Well, coming down at my number 8 now is Don't Worry, Darling. Now, this is directed by Olivia Wilde, who did the amazing Booksmart. It has Florence Pugh, Harry Styles, Chris Pine, an all-star cast, and we've seen a couple seconds of this movie, like the trailer and like certain teases to it, but we also know, and at least I know a couple people who have seen this movie and have said amazing word of buzz about this film. So I am out of my mind excited about this. Again, even without that word of buzz, I am already psyched out of my mind to see this due to the fact that it is Olivia Wilde directing this. I love what she did with Booksmart, and hearing that this is one of the most unique films yet, I think this is going to be an all-star cast right there. And again, speaking of all-star cast, we got Florence Pugh in here, who is one of my favorite actresses working right now. There is not a single performance that this girl does that I do not like. Every single time, she always comes to play, even if I don't like the movie. And I think that's a big testament to see how great of an actress she is. And I'm actually really excited to see how Harry Styles continues to flex his acting capabilities, plus Chris Pine. I mean, who doesn't love a good Chris Pine film? This is another one of those movies that, again, I don't want to know much going into. I just want to sit down, enjoy it, and absolutely be blown away. Now coming down to my number 7, it is The Northman. Now, God, am I excited for this. I watched 30 seconds of that trailer and I said, I'm good. I don't want to see anything else. I don't want to know anything else. This is a Robert Eggers written and directed movie, and it looks to be his biggest movie yet. And again, I've heard that this is just a flat-out Robert Eggers Viking revenge story, which you call me in with Vikings, you call me in with a revenge story, and then you got me even more hooked when I see that Robert Eggers is going to be directing this. This guy created one of my favorite horror films of all time with The Witch, and as well as one of the most unique films I've ever seen, The Lighthouse, which I still testify that The Lighthouse is actually a SpongeBob live action movie. Trust me, you see the parallels. Like, if SpongeBob was rated R and it was a live action, The Lighthouse would absolutely be that. Getting in with a cast like Willem Dafoe, Anya Taylor-Joy, Alexander Skarsgård, Nicole Kidman, and so many more, this just makes me out of my mind excited once again. It looks brutal, it looks visceral, and it looks like a fantastic time at the movies. And coming down at my number 6 is Spider-Man Across the Spiderverse Part 1. Now, this typically probably should be higher, but everything above this, I am even more excited about this. Even though Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is my favorite comic book film I've ever seen, it's my comfort film. I love rewatching this thing. There's just something things to this one that I'm a little bit worried that it won't hit the levels of how much I love that first one. And I'm really hoping it will be even better. I love that they're bringing in Spider-Man 2099. The little teaser that they gave us was awesome. Seeing that this is going to be part 1 is even greater. I'm glad that, because that means we get a part 2, which means we'll get a trilogy of Miles Morales and the Spider-Verse movies, which is just great. The animation looks stunning once again, and I'm loving the director. I love that Kemp Powers is actually involved with this one, who just did Soul, which was also amazing, and One Night in Miami, which both phenomenal films. So there is a lot to love and a lot to be hyped for. Again, there's just part of me that's a little bit nervous for this one. And I think if I would have seen maybe another teaser or another trailer by here, maybe I'd be even more excited about it. But then I'm kind of being a hypocrite because 2 of these movies we haven't even seen anything from that I'm about to talk about, but it's because of who's directing it that's why I'm more excited. Now, of course, before we get to my top 5, guys, I want to hear your guys' thoughts down below in the comment section. What's your most anticipated film? Let me hear it down there. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. But of course, with every year, I do have some honorable mentions to mention, so let's dive into those. And on my list, I got Avatar 2. I'm actually really excited for this. It nearly missed out, and if it wasn't for Killer of the Flower Moon, I would have had Avatar 2 in here. I might not love the original Avatar, but I absolutely love the world. And James Cameron, you just can't count him out. The first Avatar was fun, it was what it was, but when it comes down to sequels, this guy has made arguably 2 of the best sequels of all time. Terminator 2 and Aliens. Let's not doubt this guy. Let's see the movie and see if we actually do need more Avatar films in our lives. The other ones we have is Knives Out 2. I love the original one, so I'm excited to see what they do with this. Black Panther 2. Bullet Train looks to be, and just sounds to be like an awesome time. The Gray Man, which is the Russo brothers' brand new directed film with the likes of Chris Evans, Ana de Armas, Ryan Gosling. The cast is what has me alone excited for this. I didn't love Cherry. I did appreciate it more than love it. So I'm hoping the Russo brothers can kind of give us more of something from the vein of Endgame and Infinity War with their new film, The Gray Man. And of course, Mission Impossible 7. How can I not be excited for this? It just didn't make my list because we haven't seen anything from it, as well as I don't know how the hell you top Fallout, because that is absolutely one of the best action films ever made. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 absolutely looks fantastic, and Scream did not make this list because it's almost here, so I kind of wanted to be a little bit more fair and give us more looks at other films that may be coming a couple months still from now, but Scream does look awesome, and I have a lot of hope for that one. Now moving into my top 5, my number 5 is Nope! This is Jordan Peele's brand new directed and written film. I have loved every single thing that Jordan Peele has done so far, whether it's Get Out or Us. And even when you go to his comedic career, I love it. And I can't wait to see what he brings with Nope. We know nothing about this movie besides seeing that cool poster with the cloud and then the little tail coming down to the end, kind of getting Back to the Future vibes in some sort of sense with that. I've seen some theories to maybe of that. But you also have the likes of Keke Palmer, Daniel Kaluuya, and Steven Yeun are all going to be in this movie. You have sold me based on just the director and the cast alone. I don't even need to know the concept. I can't wait to get our first look at this one and absolutely kind of find out what is this movie about. Because when we got our first look at Us, my mind was blown, and I love that movie. I know it's not for everyone, but this is going to be great. I love Jordan Peele. Coming out at my number 4 is a movie that we have been waiting a long time for. It's Damien Chazelle's brand new film, Babylon. Now, there is still a lot of mystery under this film of what it's even about, but we do know the likes that Margot Robbie is in this film, and I love her as an actress. I think she's one of the best actresses working right now. We also know that the likes of Brad Pitt, Olivia Wilde, Tobey Maguire, Catherine Waterston, Samara Weaving, and so many more are also going to be appearing in this. But really much the name that has me hinged to really be excited about this is Damien Chazelle. I think this guy is 3 for 3, almost perfect films. Whether it's La La Land, Whiplash, or even First Man, I've absolutely adored each and every one of those movies. He's one of the best directors working right now, and this seems to be one of the most different things that he's done yet. I've heard some pretty fabulous things about it so far from some people working on the production, so I'm really excited to see what he has with Babylon. Of course, guys, now we get to my top 3, and my number 3 is Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. After seeing Spider-Man No Way Home and WandaVision, I'm so excited to see Elizabeth Olsen back in the role of Scarlet Witch because she's so damn good. But I'm also excited to see more Benedict Cumberbatch because he's played such an intriguing role inside the MCU ever since he had his debut in his original solo film. I have been dying to see his next solo venture, and this looks to be one of the biggest and best ones. Everything that I've heard is that if you loved Spider-Man No Way Home and what they did with that movie, imagine that times 10. The cameos galore are going to be insane in here, but the thing that I've heard is actually the story itself and the way that it opens up the world of the MCU to that next level. And the fact that Sam Raimi is directing this, that is what has me the most excited out of anything. I love Sam Raimi as a director. The Evil Dead is my favorite horror franchise of all time. I love the original Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies, so I can't wait to see what visual flair and what directing style that he puts his stamp on inside the MCU. Benedict Cumberbatch, Rachel McAdams, Elizabeth Olsen, Benedict Wong, and so many more are appearing in here. It is going to be an absolute blast. And if that little tease that we got from the end of No Way Home is anything to kind of show what we're going to be getting in Multiverse of Madness, count me in. And at my number 2, we have Lightyear. Now, I'm a massive Toy Story fan when it comes to anything out there, and this was one of my most anticipated projects when finally announced. I said, what are you doing? This is about, what is the movie that Andy watched that made him want to go and buy a Buzz Lightyear? How intriguing of an idea is that? And the fact that Chris Evans is playing Buzz Lightyear in here, it is great. That teaser trailer that we got looks a lot like Star Wars. There are Star Wars isms in there, and this seems to kind of be their version of Star Wars, but with Buzz Lightyear. This is a way to reinvent and refresh a franchise that maybe doesn't need a direct sequel, but a spin-off like this gets me so excited to see possibly what they are going to do with Buzz Lightyear's next story. And as well as it looks like it has some similarities to Buzz Lightyear's Star Command, which is one of my favorite shows from when I was a kid. Please, Disney, put this on Disney Plus. I want to rewatch it. And back again, the animation looks stunning. Everything looks great. I can't wait to see the surprises that they have in store for us within Lightyear. So my number 1, you probably guessed it by now, I'm wearing a shirt for it. It is The Batman. This has been my most anticipated film ever since it has been announced. Then when the teaser trailer hit, it became even more anticipated. And it came to the point to be that if you told me I could only watch one movie for the last 3 years, it would have been The Batman. Not just because of Robert Pattinson, who I absolutely love as the choice of Bruce Wayne and Batman. I think he's a phenomenal actor. Go watch Good Time. He is insanely amazing in there, and really much any performance after Twilight, he's fantastic in. But the other reason is because Matt Reeves gave us the Planet of the Apes trilogy, and I loved what he was able to do with those last 2 films. And I love what Matt Reeves is able to do as a director. Hearing him speak about the Batman is also something that gets me super excited because he's bringing to life so many isms of Batman that I've always adored and loved. Some stuff from Gotham City, from the comics, from the shows. It just looks like he's building upon this character in such a beautiful way. And it just looks dark, brutal, and the fact that this is a very early Batman in his age and pretty much just in his crime-fighting career. Who is he? What is he? And what is he trying to do? What is his purpose in this Gotham City? And then just torturing villains. And he looks to be the horror icon that we know and love Batman to be, but also at the center, the detective story that we need. I can't wait to see this movie. And Michael Giacchino's score is perfection. Every look of this movie I get more hyped for. Every trailer gets better. The Riddler, Paul Dano, is a perfect casting. The Penguin with Colin Farrell, oh my god. Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman, Jesus Christ. Just count me in. I am so excited for this. This is easily my most anticipated film of next year, and really much my most anticipated film maybe of all time. I am so out of my mind excited for this, and hopefully it exceeds my expectations. But guys, that is my top 10 most anticipated films for 2022. Lots of movie reviews coming up, lots of rankings, tons of ideas and everything coming up to this channel very soon. So make sure to hit that like and subscribe button so you are up to date on all sorts of great movie content. And guys, just make sure to leave a comment. I can't wait to see your guys' most anticipated. So of course, until next time, stay classy.